I think what's absolutely clear is that China and the United States are essentially not talking about this in any constructive way. In fact, they're really playing a bit of a PR game in terms of global public opinion. You see China making the point consistently, whether it's the clip you just played. There was an exchange at the WTO in Geneva recently where essentially China's saying, look, the US is a bully, they can't be trusted, they change their minds all the time, they're inconsistent, they're the ones who are to blame here. And, you know, President Trump has made tariffs basically his key policy response to the challenges of China presents the US, and without any movement by China, we just see Trump, I think, doubling down on this ongoing trade war.
Beth, who can outlast who in this particular dispute, particularly if it escalates?
I think it's a really good question. I think the president maybe didn't do us any favors when he said that trade wars are easy to win. They're not easy to win. I think something like the ZTE sanctions showed us the degree to which we can actually cripple the Chinese economy if we intend to do so. So it's, to me, less about the tariffs than about the other tools available in our toolkit if we choose to deploy them.
Although I guess the question, Josh, is just how much pain the U.S. willing to endure and how far is President Trump willing to take it, even if he does have the leverage. Larry Kudlow said you have to be careful when Jim Cramer asked him, should we just put tariffs on all $500 billion worth?
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems that the administration never expected to end up in this situation where they'd be placing tariffs on China. Of course, they've also placed tariffs on, you know, all the other steel and aluminium exporters to the United States as well, including US allies, which is actually foreclose avenues of cooperation with allies, which would be effective in trying to get China to change. I think China's betting on the fact that once the real economic costs of these measures sink in, because really they've only been implemented in the last couple of months, so we're not really seeing the pain, and possibly the economy slows anyway in 2019 as some of the stimulus and tax cut kick comes off, that the political pressure is really going to ramp up on Trump to back down.
Beth, if some kind of progress was made between the EU and the US this week, would that be a big blow to China, not just a big bonus to the US?
Well, there has to be follow through, and this is always the issue, which is everybody wants cooperation, but in my opinion, people have been free riding off the U.S. willingness to be the importer of last resort. So what we saw this week is the EU doing its own series of tariffs on steel to protect its market. This is the nature of international negotiations.
But so what does the administration need? I mean, don't they need a successful example of their strategy, whether it's Europe or there's some talk that Mexico talks are going better under the new president? I mean, Beth, don't they need to show something for all of this effort and pain they're inflicting on American exporters?
The pain, as I've said before, it's as if we think that the status quo would have meant no pain, that the status quo ante was not painful for people. And this is the missing part of the narrative here, which is U.S. industries were being offshored not because of natural comparative advantage, but because of interventionist policies by the government of China and others, including the EU in some cases, including Canada in some cases. So there needs to be a global solution. I don't think it's going to happen quickly. And I would say this, the president likes tariffs. He thinks they're clean, and that's what he did in steel and aluminum, and that's what he's doing with China.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.